Hello and welcome to Donington Park for the highlights of round 13 of the Miller's Oils Toyota MR2 Championship. In order to race in the UK, you must hold a minimum National B race licence. An application pack can be obtained from the Motorsport Association, the national governing body for circuit racing. An instructional DVD covers the main things that you'll need to know. You'll then need to book yourself a place on an Association of Racing Drivers Schools certified course in order to be assessed. The course consists of a classroom session followed by a written test. You'll also be given some driving instruction from a qualified tutor before being assessed on your ability to drive around a circuit at speed. But the examiner is not looking for you to prove that you're the next Lewis Hamilton. Previous experience is not essential, but a history that included some track days and tuition would certainly improve your chances of passing first time. Once qualified, you'll need to send your completed application form back to the MSA, who will issue you with your National B licence. This is enough for you to start out in the MR2 Championship and many other club level racing series in the UK. Until you've gained your first 6 signatures for successfully completing races, you'll need to display a novice cross on the back of your car to ensure other drivers are aware that you're new to this. The final steps on your journey to becoming a racing driver are to source your safety equipment. You'll need to get hold of a mandatory helmet, race suit, gloves and boots. Now you just need a set of wheels. There are many routes to driving in the MR2 Championship. You can buy a car, build your own, or even hire one for an individual race or a whole season. For more information, check out the website at mr2championship.com. One person who's done all of that very quickly is Jacqueline Ellis, and our reporter Matt Suckling caught up with her.
Jacqueline, you just took your ARDS test there, but talk about your previous experience in racing.
I've been racing since I was 14. I've been brought up around racing, and I started out in mini stocks, winning the Yorkshire Championship and the Sheffield Track Championship when I was 15, including 4 rollovers, which were brilliant. And then after that, as soon as I finished, I was brought up around banger racing and things like that, but then we got brought into stock car racing, which is basically like racing cars with bumpers. As soon as I retired when I was 16, because that's the age you got to retire, retirement at 16, I went into Formula 2 stock cars, which at first were a bit slow to get off and stuff. I broke my wrist within the first few weeks, and obviously did it a bit part-time, like here and there, and it was only really the last year that I really kind of like gone for it. I've gone up a grade. I've had quite a few crashes and things in the past, obviously, but you just dust yourself off and get back on it and like, okay, right, I've done that, I've survived, I've got to go back out, I've got to do it again. And when the guys see you're all broken and stuff, and you get out, you put your lip gloss on and get back, oh my God, what's up with her? You know what I mean? So yeah, racing F2s and stuff has really like toughened me up in a way and made me up to who I am now. Just anything to race, anything to get back out there. So yeah.
Yeah, so you haven't had the easiest time, but you've now kind of turned to track racing. You've got a long future hopefully ahead of you. What are you kind of hoping for?
Anything with 4 wheels that's fast, I'll race or I'll drive. Obviously, I can't wait to race these MR2s and all that stuff. It's just going to be fantastic. Just learning a lot will be the main thing for me. Trying to see the differences. Obviously, having to go both ways, as I've mentioned before. I need a sat nav before going round. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going to be completely different, and I'm just looking forward to all different aspects and learning new things and just trying to get out there and trying a new car, new settings, and hopefully do as best as I can. So yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
Now, we're always hoping for more female ladies to get into racing. For you, who has been your main kind of aspiration to get involved with and kind of aspire to?
Well, Danny Kirkpatrick obviously has done fantastic and stuff with the NASCARs and things, and she's just brilliant, isn't she? But I met a lady last year called Danny Murphy, and she's a drifting driver, and she basically built herself up from the bottom, the same as we have with the stock cars. She built herself up on a man-made, you know what I mean, no budget racers who have just basically built ourselves up, and the amount of achievements that she's had, like being the Queen of Europe as well now, is just absolutely fantastic, taking herself from track to track and just showing that she can do it no matter how much. She's had so much gone against her as have I, whereas like they say that you can't do it and that you're a girl and girls can't do these kind of things. Well we can, and she's shown it, and hopefully I can show that too. So yeah, it's just, yeah, she's brilliant, and to be like Danny Murphy and just get on with it, it'll be brilliant. Yeah,
I'm sure you've had quite a lot of help along the way as well. It's always helped to have that back support.
Oh God, I don't know what I'd do without Millers, and the help that Rogue Motorsport has given us and the 750 Motor Club has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, the amount that they do, I mean, Patrick Martel, the amount that he puts into the racing is just phenomenal. And like, as far as the F2s and the racing I've done so far, without my family and the backing of my family behind me, I would not be where I am right now, you know what I mean? And obviously without Millers I wouldn't be racing right now, but my dad doing the engines and doing the bits and the family orientation around the car, without family and without us putting so much into it, wouldn't be where we are now at all. I would not be racing. So yeah.
Well, Jacqueline, great to talk to you, and all the best for the future.
Fantastic, thank you.
Well, almost 50 drivers have scored points in the MR2 Championship this season, and Matt caught up with one of them who was making a comeback at Donington.
Paul Hudson, in the MR2 Championship, you're back this year after a bit of ill health yes, during the year, but you're looking forward to getting back into the race seat?
Absolutely, I've missed it completely. Watching them all go round, and I'm back with a vengeance.
And I understand you used to race some 30 years ago with some pretty good legends as well.
Yes, 30 years ago we did Formula 3, and we raced with Nigel Mansell, Eddie Jordan, Stefan Johansson, and we had a bit of a 30-year break and decided to come back to this championship.
And what is one of the reasons you chose this championship to get involved with?
Because they're all the same make, the setup is good, we're all standard, and the friendly atmosphere is unbelievable. It really is a good championship.
You've got one race to come today. What are you kind of hoping from the racing?
Finishing to start with. Whatever I can do. It's at 61 years old, it's whatever I can get out of it.
Well, as the grid forms up for what will be the only race of the day for the MR2s here at Donington Park, let's have a look at the points table. I don't think the championship's going to be decided here, because with 2 races still remaining after this at Cadwell Park, Matthew Palmer is only 7 points clear of John Wilson. Tim Heron is third, a little bit further back, but Stuart Nichols is the man in form after winning last time out at Silverstone. And he carried that form over to qualifying here. Nichols on pole position then, ahead of fellow Roadster driver Jim Davis. Mike Wells and Ben Rowe on the second row of the grid. Further back, Mick Nichols, Stuart's dad, is on row 4. Mark Barber was on the podium at Silverstone, he's on row 6. But watch out for Matt Palmer, he's 16th after problems in qualifying, the championship leader with a lot of work to do. With just a single race here at Donington Park today, it's a slightly longer race distance ahead of us. 18 minutes plus 1 lap, as the red lights are on and they go out, and away we go. And it's a good start from both front row men. From the outside of row 2, the red car, Ben Rowe, not quite so well away. He loses a little bit of ground. The green car of Michael Wells has got away quite nicely. He's trying to go up the inside of Jim Davis there into Redgate for the first time. And the number 89 car there, the third of the Roadsters, the second of the blue ones, that's Mick Nichols. He's up to 5th from 8th on the grid. Down through Craner Curves they go for the first time. We're on the shorter national circuit here at Donington Park this weekend. It's Stuart Nichols leading, but Jim Davis making a bid for the lead there as they fed down into the old hairpin. We'll see in a moment if he's got that done. There's the number 28 car of Bracknell's Christian White, just tucked in behind Matthew Wallace as they head under Starkey's Bridge for the first time. And Jim Davis has done it, he's got through into the lead of the race, and Michael Wells has followed him through because Stuart Nichols has had a dubious couple of corners. He's dropped back down to 3rd position there. There's Mark Warren-Layton in the blue and yellow car going through shot. The rest of the field making their way around McLean's corner, including the number 42 machine of Andrew Franklin. You can see that he still has the novice cross on the back of his car. leaders dropping down the Dunlop straight for the first time then, and already Jim Davis is starting to make a little bit of a break here in car number 11. The man from Stratford upon Avon has Michael Wells in second, Stuart Nichols third, it's Ben Rowe fourth, Mick Nichols making a move down the inside there, and he spins and he takes some other cars with him. That's Mark Barber going through the gravel trap. The 72 car that spun is Matthew Wallace, more cars scattering in avoidance as well. One now looks to be fully beached in the gravel, that's the number 96 car of Ian Burgess. He was just left with nowhere to go. It's not unusual to see that kind of chaos down at the chicane at the first lap of a race at Donington Park. It's just a shame we've lost one or two cars possibly because of it. The 33 car, the white and red car there, is that of Alex Knight, and off as well in all of that went Tim Heron, the man who lies third in the championship. He's embedded in the Recticel barriers there on the exit of the chicane. No surprise, red flags fly, the race is being stopped. Well, there's at least two cars that need to be recovered from various gravel traps down at the chicane, and that's going to take a few moments to do. Let's have a look at what happened then. This is on board with Mick Nichols. Matthew Wallace has just gone past him, but Mick Nichols very late on the brakes, and there's some contact there, possibly with Wallace, also I think with Tim Heron's car as well. Mick Nichols' car is briefly left stranded, and there's damage to that car as well. In the meantime, all the cars have scattered left and right. Now this is another view from on board with Christian Watt. Now you can see the late braking Mick Nichols up ahead. What we missed there is the point of contact, but certainly Matthew Wallace spun, and that was the 22 car of Mark Barber going left through the gravel. And here's another view from Matthew Wallace's car. He is going down the inside of Tim Heron, but going down the inside of him was Mick Nichols. There was contact, and Wallace was spun around. He was left facing the traffic as it came through once more, and lucky to avoid further damage. Well, we'll get a restart in a few moments' time, so join us once more after the break. Welcome back to Donington Park, where we've had a red flag in the Miller's Oils Toyota MR2 Championship. It's round 13 and it's been unlucky for some, including Mick Nichols, who sustained damage in that first corner shunt. It's not been a great weekend, it's fair to say, for John Wilson. In the road sports race yesterday, the engine blew on his car, so midnight oil has been burnt and that has been sorted, but now he has a damaged front wing rubbing on his left front tyre. It looks though as if Mick Nichols is going to get out of his car, and the man from Hertfordshire's race is very much over. Meanwhile, John Wilson is heading to the end of the pit lane, so he will start his race from there. A lot of work to do for the man who lies second in the championship coming into this weekend. All set for the off then, a slightly reduced race distance, 15 minutes plus 1 lap. This is on board with Jacqueline Ellis in her first race in the MR2 Championship. She's starting towards the back of the grid, but she's made a good solid start there. Meanwhile up front, let's see if Stuart Nichols is able to hold on to the lead of the race this time. This is the view of John Wilson, and out he goes from the pit lane, and you can see how much distance and how much time he loses, even to the last car to have gone past the pit lane exit. He's going to have to spend a couple of laps even latching himself onto the back of the pack. Stuart Nichols has made a better start this time. Jim Davies not away quite so well, but Michael Wells is having a look down the inside as they go into the old hairpin. They're side by side on the way out of the corner. Meanwhile, there's a spinner down there. That is Simon Wallace, number 73. He gets the car pointing back in the right direction again very quickly. Well, it looks like Mick Nichols is going to be able to get out again after all. Fantastic work from his team. And here's the view from on board with Michael Wells of the sister car. Stuart Nichols in the lead of the race then as they head through Coppice Corner, clipping one apex, now heading towards the other. And there it is down the Dunlop Straight for the first time in this race. Nichols will be happy to have made a much more solid start this time. Jim Davies, who was leading at the first time of asking, is down in third position. And look, it's side by side for fourth as well. That's Ben Rowe and Tim Herron, who was dug out of the gravel trap, out of the barriers as well, and he's very much back in this race. Christian White is not too far behind. It's been a good start as well from Mark Barber from row 6 of the grid. Look, he's well and truly stuck into this battle. Down towards Redgate for the second time, then Jim Davies trying to go around the outside of Michael Wells. It's Roadster against Mark II, the two of them overlapping there. And I think they're catching Stuart Nichols, if anything, as they now head through Hollywood, down the crane curves for the second time in this race. Glorious afternoon at Donington Park. This is Stuart's view, clipping the curbs on the left-hand side of the track there. But look, Wells is closer to him now, less than a car length between them. And now he's sizing up the move. He looks to the right, he looks to the left. All over the curb he goes. The car is alongside now. Is he ahead of Stuart Nichols? I think he might have done it. Turning their way into McLean's corner. Now where is Stuart Nichols? Out over the curb goes Michael Wells. And there is Stuart Nichols. He goes through into the lead of the race. And look, Jim Davies is trying to follow him through as well. And he's done it. As we look back from Stuart Nichols' car, the two roadsters has made their way ahead now of the Mark II as they head down the Dunlop Straight once more. So it's Nichols leading, Davies second, Wells third. It looks like Ben Rowe there is in fourth position at the moment. Into the right hander they go at the chicane. Now the left hander back onto the Wheatcroft Straight. First 5 cars getting away from the rest, but Mark Barber, what an impressive start to the race that was from him, from 12th on the grid up to 5th already. We'll try and keep an eye on what the likes of Matt Palmer are doing as well. Looks to me as if he's in about 9th position. He started the race in 16th, so a very good getaway from Matt Palmer after those dramas for him in qualifying. Every point will count in this championship battle, which will conclude at Cadwell Park in 3 weeks' time. John Wilson, of course, started from the pit lane. We're on board with him now as he's catching the pack here. Down through the Craner curves. Look at all of those cars ahead of him, though, that he needs to try and find his way past. Through the Craners, down towards the old hairpin. Closing ever so slightly on the cars in front. I'm not quite sure that John Wilson's got the pace he would have liked to have had this weekend. Well, there's Palmer in the thick of this battle. He's just tucked in behind Tim Herron there, and just ahead of Alex Knight, who's trying to go around the outside of him now. Alex Knight has only just lost that position to Matt Palmer. He's trying to get it back as they go towards Coppice Corner. Has he done it? Wait and see as they arrive at the back of the shot, and they're still side by side, those two. Alex Knight, a winner at Brands Hatch, the opening meeting of the season. That was one that did not go well for Matt Palmer, who's lost the position. At the head of the group is the number 28 car, which is Christian White, and it's 5 cars battling over position there. Matthew Wallace, who went well at Donington Park last season, number 72, he's at the rear of the group, the grey car. Here's the view from Christian White then. He's heading up towards Redgate Corner. Some smoke ahead of him as someone locked up maybe. Meanwhile, Palmer goes back through on the inside of Alex Knight once more. And that, I think, is going to be 8th position for Matthew Palmer, the man from Reading. Side by side for the lead of the race, and it's Jim Davies that's got the inside line for the chicane. Can he make it work? Yes, he can. He goes through into the lead. Stuart Nichols has no answer, and he follows. He'll get back into the tow, no doubt try and get back ahead at Redgate Corner. Donington produces some great racing because there's a large number of overtaking opportunities, one after the other. And look at them as they fan out now. Mike Wells wants a bit of this as well, but it's Stuart Nichols that goes back into the lead, as I predicted. But Jim Davies immediately tries to fight back as they head through Hollywood. So it's Stuart Nichols, the 34-year-old from Ware, that leads the race. Jim Davis in second position, and Michael Wells, the 32-year-old from Somerset, in third position. Under Starkey's Bridge, past the spark plug, the former commentary point here at Donington Park. Now here's John Wilson. He has made up some progress now. He's past the number 9 car, which is Paul Hudson from Lincoln, who we heard from before the race got underway. Hudson about to lose another place there, I think. Jonathan Grimes, you can see in the silver-coloured roadster there, just ahead of number 16, Mark Warren Leighton from Erith. And there's Alex Knight now, number 33. He's coming under a little bit more pressure now from cars behind him, having lost touch with that Matt Palmer battle. Down the Dunlop straight they go, past the exhibition centre here at Donington. Down into the chicane comes Knight then, under more pressure here. Clive Morford, you can see, in the number 8 car with the black bonnet on the mainly blue car. Then there's Grimes and Warren Leighton as well, going over the line. Meanwhile, Christian White now has Tim Heron behind him, and Matt Palmer as well. They're queuing up. So's Nigel Ralphson as well in car number 85. So 4 cars battling over that particular position. This is the view from on board with Jacqueline Ellis. Still acclimatising herself, but in a bit of problem there, I think, possibly, as she makes her way through the chicane. But she's gaining confidence all of the time. Down the straight, Wheatcroft straight, towards Redgate corner, past the grandstand there. This is the view looking forward, past the pit lane exit now, turning away into Redgate corner. Oh, and the car getting away from her a little bit, and she spins, she's off into the gravel. Oh, she's well embedded in there, I think. Yep, she's spinning the wheels as she tries to get out, but all that's doing is getting her sunk in deeper and deeper. Rear-wheel drive machinery, of course. I think that helped in that situation. She was able to reverse the car, and all being well, she should get going again, but she'll have dirt on her tyres, she'll have a lot of gravel stuck underneath the car that she'll have to shake down as she heads down through Hollywood and the Craner curves. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead rages on. It's Stuart Nichols from Jim Davis and Michael Wells. Through Redgate and Hollywood they go. Notice now how the man in 4th position, Mark Barber, is closing on them. Mark had an excellent weekend at Silverstone last time out, getting his first podium position, and he's really doing a great job here as well to catch the top 3 in a very solid 4th position. Turn their way through the old hairpin now, where very shortly there'll be some traffic to deal with as well. And look at this, down towards Redgate corner, William Gallagher is there, so is Clive Morford and Jonathan Grimes. It's Gallagher in the red number 83 car. He gets out a little bit wide there, all 4 wheels over the white line. And look at that, who's closing in on them? None other than John Wilson as well, from the pit lane. A great job. Side by side between Morford and Gallagher as they make their way through Craner curves towards the old hairpin there, almost touched there. Round the right-hander, Morford has got that done, and he moves up another position, and Gallagher gets into a spin, onto the grass, into the gravel. Luckily the gravel was there, otherwise his car might have been in the barrier. And someone else off too. Number 24 is Martin Farrelly from Fleet. It's Fleet of foot enough to get out of the gravel trap, but I'm not sure that William Gallagher is going to be so lucky. Nigel Ralphson having a look down the inside of Matthew Wallace, car number 72 here. They've both got ahead of the number 23 car of Tim Heron. Wallace fighting back on the exit of the chicane. They're wing mirror to wing mirror as they go over the line. Turning their way through Hollywood now. That's Knight running wide in car number 33, bouncing all over the grass. It cost him a second or so, that mistake there. Dan Holmes in the number 92 car involved in this battle. Behind him is the number 80 car of David Asprey. And the great thing about the MR2 Championship is that there's battles all the way down the field. Well, Mick Nichols in his rather patched up roadster is making a little bit of progress there. As a spin is there for number 45, which is Robert Wells. Well, he kept control of the spin but went off into the gravel instead. And I think we might find that's race over for him as well. The dust settles at Coppice Corner as number 90, which is Jacqueline Ellis, makes her way through. She's now climbing out of McLean's up towards Coppice. Yellow flags there for that car off in the gravel trap. Into the final corner comes Stuart Nichols from Michael Wells. We've lost Jim Davies to the pit lane, so it's going to be Stuart Nichols that upholds Roads to Glory and takes his second victory in a row here at Donington Park, and he's very happy with that result. Michael Wells in second, and with the demise of Jim Davies, look, Mark Barber took third position. On board with Jacqueline Ellis coming through, and she's about to complete her first race in the MR2 Championship in 23rd position. Number 33, Alex Knight, coming through after a slightly torrid race. He comes through in 10th, but look at this, it's side by side just ahead of him, and they're going to be absolutely inseparable as they go over the line, and that is Matthew Wallace and Nigel Ralphson. And you'll see that those two in 8th and 9th position credited with identical lap times, but it was Stuart Nichols that took the win by just over a second from Michael Wells. Mark Barber 3rd, then Ben Rowe. Matthew Palmer from 16th up to 5th. John Wilson from the pit lane up to 12th. This is the difference it's made to the championship. Matthew Palmer now 15 points clear of John Wilson going into the final 2 races at Cadwell Park. Tim Heron is 3rd, Stuart Nichols closing on him though, he's in 4th position.
Stuart Nichols, your 4th win of the year, and a nice win there for you here at Donington Park.
Yeah, and they really made me work for it hard as well. I got really lucky on having the restart, if I'm being honest. Jim and Mike sort of showed their hand a little bit, so I was a lot more cautious of protecting the line through Craner curves, and then it was just keeping Jim behind me. Then when I saw Jim go off, Mike just took up the lead and was just like going to chase me. So that was hard work.
And this stage in the season, the championship is getting towards the end, and with your rivals not doing so well, it helps you out quite a bit.
Yeah, my main focus genuinely is on the class, but I'm doing unbelievably well in the overall championship as well, so I'd be a fool not to kind of go for that. The road could just keep giving me a car that just I can just go really fast in. It's fantastic.
Well done, Stuart. Good luck for Cadwell.
Cheers, thank you.
Michael Wells, 2nd place in that race. You're starting to have a good run of form towards the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Another 2nd place finish. Still can't quite notch up the victory this year yet. Still just the one from last year. But it's good championship points for me and for the team as well, for Russ Hennessy and the guys. It's pretty good to have a car on form. The car's handling beautifully, and I'm hoping to chase down a runner-up position in the championship.
And in that race, the gap between yourself and race leader Stuart was up and down quite a few times.
Yeah, I was pushing really hard, a little bit harder than I should have done a couple of times, I think. But Stu said he was pushing hard as well, so I was giving him a good challenge there. Just couldn't quite match it to chase him down towards the end. But a couple of good starts this time, unlike last time here at Donington. But yeah, it's all coming together.
Michael.
Looking forward to Cadwell. Cheers.
And you can see coverage of the racing at Cadwell Park in 3 weeks' time. Do join us then, but for now, from all of us here at Donington Park, enjoy your racing. Bye-bye.